Hi guys, I wanted to give a review here about the 2019 Volkswagen Atlas SEL R line. It's been out for a couple of days. I just purchased it a few days back. One of the first, I think, I've been told by the dealership, certainly the first that they've sold to, but also across the country. And I hadn't seen anything online and on YouTube, and so I thought I'd post something because I was looking for a review about it, and this might be useful for others. So here's a car. It's in tourmaline blue, which is a nice blue color. It's a darkish blue. My recommendation is you actually need to see the color in the dealership versus what you see in the brochure. It is different for all the colors. I especially like this because it's got a sort of rich deep blue, but it also lightens up in the sun, and it also looks a lot darker at night, so gives that sporty look to it, and it's a little different. You can see here what's different with the different models that are available are the S, the SE, the SE with technology, and then there is the SEL, and there's an SEL R line. The thing that makes the SEL different from the SE is probably a few things related to technology and a few things on the outside, the exterior, and the R line's a little different as well. So one of the most obvious things I think with the R line that you'll see is the branding. It's not overstated or understated, I would say, but there is a badge, an R-line badge there on the front grille, and an R-line badge on the side. You get a alloy set of 20-inch alloy wheels, and it's a special type of alloy. There's a name I can't quite remember what Trenton alloys they're called. And the other thing that's slightly different is a little bit of the trimming around the base. What you find in some of the other 2019 VW Atlases is that it has a sort of matte black trim around the very bottom of the car. You don't see it on this one. And what you do see actually is a sort of piano black, is what they call it, border around the fog lamps, which go around here and also in the back, and there's a bit more chrome that you can see on the front grille and on the side of the car. Okay, before we get into the car and take a look at the things inside, you do get standard remotes, of course, to open the car. Now, what I like about this remote is that it's a lot smaller and lightweight, but still reasonable size, so it's not going to get lost, but smaller than what I'm used to, especially with the Audi. You can see here the Audi remotes. So it's a smaller size, it's narrower, which is good, great if it's in your pocket. You can start it remotely, which is a nice feature for those of us in winter. If you know, switch it on from inside the house when it's cold outside, or when there's frost. So you press it once here and press it twice there. One other thing to point out, there is a R-Line SE version of the car and an R-Line SEL. This is a SEL version here, but the main difference is some of the technology on the inside, and what you have is the sensors for, I'll show you on the inside, the front assist, lane changing. A lot of the sensors on the car is actually housed within this emblem here. So it's kind of cool. It has its own heater in there, so when it snows or when there's heavy frost, you'll see that the badge is always clear first before the rest of the car defrosts, because of that sensing technology that they want to have functional. Okay, so let's open the door then. So if the door's locked, as long as you have the key in your pocket, you won't actually need to take the key out to start the car or to enter the car. If your key's in the pocket, it senses that, and you can just put your hand close to it and it automatically opens and senses that. You can see the inside of the car here. I'll show you the back. What I like primarily about this car is the fact that it is a 7-seater, and there's plenty of space here, as you can see here. One of the things that was important for me was in the back seat here, the third row, that it is large enough for a large adult to sit down, and this is plenty of room in there. It's a much wider car than what you see for other cars that have this sort of three-row seating. The material on the inside is what they call is leather. It's a leatherette, actually. There are two different colors that it comes in. This is called Shetland. It's a beigeish color, and you have a black version as well in there too. The back of the car has power lifts here. There's enough space with the 3 rows to put, I guess, your grocery shopping and things in there. The car in the SEL version will tow 5,000 pounds. A hook up there with power cable down here, and then that's the hook up for whatever you want to pull or drag along with you. The other thing to mention, I think, is that it has LED lights in the tail as well as the front, and power closing as shown. Okay, you can see here plenty of space in here. You have a little temperature control, and then down here you have 2 inputs for your iPhone, and there's an actual plug point in there. So it's a regular household plug point in there. You can plug in whatever you need to. See, on the side they have these screens that you can put up if the sun's in your eyes. Nice sunroof, big one. And there you have the back, so I'm going to get out and show you that. Hold this. The whole thing comes forwards. Plenty of space to get in. So my knees are not touching the seat in front, so this is in the 3rd row. You can control these little headrests, and the space in the back also for groceries and what have you. There are cup holders here, space over here. This on the side is, if you do decide you want more luggage room, you can of course put these seats down, it becomes flat, and you can also put down the 2nd row as well, and it becomes totally flat, which gives you plenty of room for anything that you need to. But this little hole here is a privacy screen. There is something that's underneath here, underneath the carpet there, that you put in, and then you can pull that screen and it covers, so you don't not showing what's in your trunk of the car. Light switches, pretty standard. Okay, so let's get inside. Okay, you can see here, let me close the door. Nice solid sound, which is like premium look and feel to the whole vehicle, solid. You start the car using a push button start. The door open. Now on the SEL version you have a digital readout here. Now this is what they call a digital cockpit, and there's no mechanical dials there for the rev counter or the speedometer or any of the other things there, which is kind of cool, which does allow you to switch up the different views. I'll show you that in a second. There's also a large digital monitor here, which allows you to control various things: radio, different types of media, your Apple CarPlay phone. It's voice activated, it has nav in there, various other cool things which we can talk about. But it also has the usual dials, which are conveniently placed. If you're used to that, I think that makes sometimes you can get lost if everything is controlled electronically in the technology there, which I actually prefer what I'm used to, some of the dials. So you can do either. You can control things in both places. You have here a button that allows you to control left side, right side temperatures. You can sync those together and it changes together. You press that out, it just changes on your side, not the other side. It has a mode called rest, which uses the residual heat. So if your engine's already warm, it utilizes that, and so the engine is already hot. So if you need heater and if the car is off, it'll continue to bring the heat into the car. And then I think on the R-Line version, you have a heated steering wheel, and there are different settings as to how hot this goes, but it's definitely something nice to have in winter. This automatic off button, what that allows you to do is that you can conserve a bit of gas when you're at a traffic light. The car will stop automatically, and as the traffic light changes and you take your foot off the brake, and the car obviously switches on and it's ready to move. Conserves a bit of gas here. The R-Line does have metal chrome pedals, which is a little bit different, a little bit more chrome look on the inside of the car itself. So you have your nav, which is actually built into the screen here, which is kind of cool. You don't have to look to the side here, although it is possible to do that. With your nav, you can switch into the main screen here, or you can switch back to having it on your digital cockpit. So on the screen here, when you switch it on, there are various different functions. It's touchscreen enabled, so you can move around. And when you put your Apple phone, iPhone or Android in here and plug that in, you can use Apple CarPlay, and so all your apps will come up here. All those that are enabled for Apple CarPlay can come in and shown on your screen here. But without that, let's have a look and see what we have. So you've got radio, media, navigation. So your radio is your usual. You have XM on there for 3 months that you get, I think, as a free promotion that they have, and then you have to pay for that after that. But FM, AM, and you have the different channels. You see here. Okay, there's a sensor that senses when your hand is close. So some of the things that are controlled here, you have driver assist. Trying to get the focus right. There you go. Driver assist. And I need to close the door for this to see. So if you switch the driver assist, you can see here the various things that are shown. You have lane assist, which allows when the car is moving about 40 miles an hour, it senses the sides of the road, the markings on the roads, and if you're traveling a little too close to the center line or to the line on the other side of the road, it gently turns the steering back to the middle again, which is good when you're on the highway, and sometimes in long journeys you can drift inadvertently, and it puts you back and it shows you here which side you're close to, and all that sort of good stuff. On the panel itself, let's push it again, and it has blind spot monitoring. So when you're changing lanes, or if the car's coming up behind you, you'll see that flash. It'll flash on the actual wing mirror somewhere over there and let you know that there's a car on the side, which is useful. Okay, and then you have rear traffic assist, which is a system that they have in the back of the car, sensors there that detect if there's any traffic in the back there that you're not aware of, any cars, and it gives you a warning around that. And front assist, which is another safety feature that's available only in the SEL versions, that it detects up to 80 meters ahead any car that's there, an accident that may happen, and under certain set of conditions it preempts the accident by reducing the speed dramatically of the car, applying brakes and doing various other things to prevent the collision. It's all good technology for safety. Another convenience feature I really like about the R-Line is the adaptive cruise control. Now, everyone's familiar with cruise control that's been around for decades, but adaptive cruise control is a new type of technology, and then what it does is it essentially allows you to set your pace with the car in front, and if that car speeds up, you speed up. If it slows down, you slow down, and you can do that as follows. You just push the view button. This is easiest to see here. If I move it to the driver assist system, changes the view a little bit, and you can see on the left hand side over here there is a looks like a road, and what that allows you to do is to set the distance away from the car in front. It's kind of cool technology because it does allow these sorts of things like this adaptive cruise control, sensing the sides of the road, these types of things. I think it's the beginning of autonomous driving, the early stages where you can sort of speed up, slow down relative to the car in front. You can detect the sides of the road. So it's kind of cool, and I like. Okay, and then you have your view button here, which allows you to switch things up. As I mentioned, let me do that. You can control that through the panel here. I'm just going up and down. So you have gear and speed. You're in park at the moment, and your speedometer there. Let's see, economy and range. So since you last refueled and how much gas you're using, various settings you can see here. Let's go through the navigation. The navigation one is a cool one that you can use in conjunction with your navigation system. You can switch it between the main panel over here, your navigation, and if you push a button there, it'll appear on your screen, and I like it on the screen here. It's actually, I have this in my other car on the dashboard there, but I think it's much nicer here. It just allows you, not to move your head away from the road as you're looking. You can just avert your eyes downwards to check the directions. Elevation. There's a bunch of stuff that you can do here. Radio. Let's have a look. Let's go back to this. You can control that. Here, all your different XM channels that you want, channel list. You can see here you can control all of those things. Bluetooth, it links up to your iPhone through Bluetooth. It's got all your songs in there, your playlists, all the various good stuff that you have. You can pair up to 2 phones in the car, so both of them will work. Phone settings, you can program things in there, and then it has also your contact list, and you can scroll through that. That's all from your phone through Bluetooth. Voice assist, navigation. If you connect your iPhone in through the USB port there, you can use Apple Assist, and all your Apple CarPlay enabled apps can appear in this area over here. There is a USB port inside the middle over there, and there's 2 USB ports in the back over here. You can control the temperature on a similar sort of setup. There's a digital display back there as well, so you can control the temperature. One feature of the SEL and R-Line is this large panoramic roof, which has a privacy screen in there. If the sun or it gets too bright, you can close that, and then the various the sunroof, of course. And then finally, let's see, you have here vehicle. Did we look at that? Oh, this is some sort of VW thing that they have, Think Blue. It allows you to show you how well you're driving the car from an economical standpoint. It gives you a score in this little dial here out of 100 as to how well you're doing, depending on how you drive the car. If you're using the car, revving it up and braking a lot and doing that type of thing, you may not get a high score. And then it tells you here your miles per gallon. And I think there are various different, this dial here changes as you drive. and it gives you sort of optimum range that you want to be in with acceleration, deceleration, and braking. And there's a eco sign that comes in the middle when you're just right there. And so I guess that's helpful. One of the things with these sorts of big cars is the fuel consumption. It does consume a lot of fuel, much more so than obviously a smaller car, and so you want to be as economically minded as you can be when you drive. So there's lots to talk about, a lot of technologies in here in the car. I'm not going to go through everything. Traffic link, automatic traffic, it senses that when you traffic here, let's see, it tells you where you live, where the traffic is. Images, climate control, you can control here. It has 3 climate zones inside the car, left hand side, right hand side, and the back of the car. You can control that manually through these dials, and in the back over here there's a little digital screen there, or you can do that from up front here. You can control the temperature here or down here, depending. You can control the speed, the AC, various different things. You can control where all of that sort of stuff you can do over here. Okay, they have something called Air Care, which allows you to control the air, the quality of the air in the car, optimizes the use of the interior air filter. When activated, fine dust particles filtered out. You need to have the car door closed, and it senses the air quality and allows you to adjust that accordingly. A lot of great technology in this car, which is something that I really like. But it's not overwhelming. You don't feel as though you're overwhelmed with technology from the interface standpoint, which is cool. The other thing that you have here is a dial, which allows you to drive in the snow. You can see if you live in the northeast, you get a lot of snow in the winter. That's useful. Regular driving. You have here off-road, and then custom settings. And then within, you have a normal setting, you have a sports suspension, so it changes the suspension and various other things in the car to allow you to do drive in certain conditions. It's an eco-friendly version. And then you have your rear view, so when you're reversing, it comes on automatically when you put it into reverse, or if you push this button. And depending on your steering, it adjusts around, helps you to park the car and to look on this car over here that's shown. It shows you if you're close to anything and where you're close to, and what you're close to. So that's all kind of cool from a safety standpoint. So there you have it, the 2019 VW Atlas SEL version R-Line. Hope you enjoyed the review. The reason I'm doing this again is because it is brand new and there aren't a lot of reviews out there. When I went to the YouTube, I didn't see much out there. I would have liked to have had at least someone's review of the car other than a dealer, and let you know that I'm happy with it so far. And if I do come across anything, I will post an update. But happy car searching. Thank you. Bye-bye.